Last night I watched the Atroworld tragedy documentary that's recently released on Netflix, and I thought I'd come on here to give my thoughts and feelings surrounding its release. First of all, rest in peace to everyone who tragically lost their lives at this event. It should have been one of the best nights of their lives that they remember forever, and it ended up being quite the opposite. And from watching the documentary, as well as everything else we knew prior, it's so clear that this was an extremely preventable occurrence. I won't go into too much detail on here as to what actually went wrong, but I'd highly recommend you go and watch the documentary because it does a great job of summarising the planning issues, what actually went wrong on the night, and then the aftermath of the event as well. And what I think was really good about the documentary was how well they showcased the errors of different parties involved in this. Live Nation, who I largely think are to blame for most of the mistakes resulting in the tragedy, from understaffing the security who weren't even trained properly, overselling tickets, having terrible crowd management measures. I could go on. But then as well, looking at the fire department and how they accepted and gave the go-ahead for these plans in the first place, looking at the police department who overruled an execution to stop the show. So much went wrong on so many levels, but what I think was good was it didn't solely place the blame on just Travis. Yes, Travis made some pretty damning mistakes on the night, and the aftermath was terrible with one of the worst apology videos of all time. And Travis has never been a great public speaker, which just created a really bad look for him. However, the general consensus over the last few years has been that Travis almost went out and brutally murdered these 10 people himself, which I just think is obscene, because after watching the documentary, it's quite clear as to how much went wrong on such a massive level from so many different aspects of this planning and on the night as well. So I think the documentary was really good as just sort of showcasing that, and I hope that it does sort of shift the narrative away from just solely Travis himself, because he is partially to blame but not solely to blame. And I also think that this would have been a lot different if it was a white pop star as opposed to a black rapper. But let me know what you think of the documentary, if you've watched it yet, and who's really to blame for this massive tragedy.